Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and you're watching This Week in MTG Finance. As always, and before we get started, I want to thank MTG Stocks for allowing us to use graphical information for the purposes of this video. This week has been absolutely nutty. That's right, squirrels are all the rage right now thanks to a brand new spoiler from KALDHEIM, and that would be Toski, Bearer of Secrets. This brand new 4-cost commander is absolutely bonkers in that we're getting a 1/1 that can't be countered. It's indestructible. Now it attacks each combat if able, but whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Seems like a great pilot for your brand new squirrel-themed EDH deck. I never would have been able to guess that squirrels and dwarves would have been the talk of the town going into 2021, but that is definitely the case this week. So let's dive right into our top 10 list, and we're going to start right here with Carrus Thumb from Mirrodin. This card has been bouncing on and off our top 10 list a few times over the course of the last couple of months, ever since we found its owner in Commander Legends. That would be, of course, Carrus the Thumbless. Carrus Thumb's got a few things going for it, dictating its price, in that Mirrodin is the only real printing of this card. Of course, it did get a printing in the list, but the list doesn't really count now, does it? It also provides a unique effect, in that for 2 mana we're getting an artifact, and if we would flip a coin, instead flip 2 coins and ignore 1. An obvious include in any coin flip strategy. And this week, Carrus Thumb is up another 29% to $25. Coming in at number 9 this week, we have a reserve list card in Sarin Ruins from Homeland, currently valued at $3, and this is up another 52% this week. I actually really like the prospects of this card going forward. It's got a few things going for it. It is a reserve list card, so there's always that. For 4 mana, we're getting an enchantment that you choose a creature type, and creatures of that type do not untap during their controller's untap phase. But what I really like about this card going forward is that Wizards seems to be really pushing tribal strategies. We've seen things like squirrels, pirates, and dwarves all prominently featured in the last couple of sets, and we know these things are going to continue to get pushed going forward. So having an Sarin Ruins in your collection at $3 is a fantastic pickup right now. I'm not surprised to see Boyle in the number 8 spot this week. This uncommon from 7th edition is up 54% to $3.67. In fact, this was printed in quite a few sets. We have a 6th and 8th edition printing as well as the original Tempest printing. Now, I used to have a little bit of a negative view on narrow cards like Boyle. For 4 mana, we're getting an instant that destroys all islands. And this is the type of card that could easily end up being dead in your hand, or at least having a minimal effect on the board. However, with the top 10 list of commanders comprising creatures such as Sakashima, Atraxa, Golos, and Omnath, it's no surprise that cards like Boyle are ending up in more and more decks. Coming in at number 7 this week, we have Druids Call from Odyssey, and this is up another 57% to just over $5. Druids Call is a natural fit for any squirrel-themed deck, and especially with the brand new Toski, Bearer of Secrets. It is indestructible after all, so when you throw Druids Call on this, you're really forcing your opponents to make a decision. Either they block Toski and give you a bunch of green squirrel tokens, or they don't block Toski and you draw a bunch of cards, and of course, get some commander damage in there. It's no surprise that Druid's Call is taking up the number 7 slot this week, and I would expect this to continue to rise over the course of the next few weeks. And continuing in our squirrel theme, our number 6 winner this week is Deranged Hermit from Urza's Legacy, up another 67% to $48. This thing is an auto-include in any squirrel-themed deck, of course. For 5 mana, we're getting a 1/1 elf. Now, this thing has Echo, but when Deranged Hermit comes into play, we put 4 squirrel tokens into play and treat those as 1/1 green squirrels. Of course, he's also a squirrel lord, giving all squirrels +1/+1. It's getting harder and harder to get your hands on a Deranged Hermit, considering it's also on the reserve list. Our number 5 winner this week is also up another 67%, and that would be Reign of Gore from Dissension at $9.25. This is the only printing of this card. Of course, it's not on the reserve list. For 2 mana, we're getting an enchantment, and if a spell or ability would cause its controller to gain life, that player loses that much life instead. With all of the new life gain strategies out there, this card is a perfect fit for things like Queen Marchesa and Nekusar the Mindraiser. Our number 4 winner this week is one of the big names from Magic's history, and that's Candelabra of Tonos from Antiquities. This thing is almost $2,000 now, and it's up another 71% this week to $1,917. I don't think there's anything new going on with Candelabra of Tonos. Obviously, this is a reserve list card. And of course, it works really well with high tide strategies, and of course, things like Lotus Field can end up generating a ton of mana with this type of card, especially when you combine it with ways to untap it. If you are the lucky owner of a Candelabra of Tonos, you have made a nice tidy profit over the course of the last couple of weeks. I think our number 3 winner this week is purely speculative. Regardless of that, Dwarven Thermaturgist is up 104% to $2.50. Now, this is a reserve list card, and our choices in dwarves is pretty narrow if we're planning on building a tribal deck. This is actually a pretty terrible card. For 3 mana, we're getting a 1/2, and we can tap it to switch power and toughness of a creature until end of turn. I suppose it could be useful in certain situations, but I think that this one is just being bought out because A, it's on the reserve list, and B, we don't have many dwarves to choose from. Our number 2 winner this week was also on our list last week. Lovisa Coldice from Cold Snap is currently valued at $11.75. This is up another 123% this week. Just a couple of weeks ago, this was a junk rare. Now, I think Lovisa is going to continue to climb, but where the ceiling is, I don't know. So I'm not comfortable in saying, pick up a Lovisa now or pick up a Lovisa in a few weeks when maybe it's come back down a little bit. That is a decision for you to make. However, Lovisa has a couple of really big things going for her. We've seen that Berserkers are definitely going to be a big thing in KALDHEIM. In fact, one of the big new commanders that everyone's talking about is Magda Brazen Outlaw, and she is both a dwarf and a Berserker. Lovisa could also be a commander on her own, depending on what we get in terms of Berserkers, Barbarians, and Warriors from the brand new KALDHEIM set. And she's one of the few lords that actually give things +2/+2, and haste is of course huge in aggressive mono red decks. It's no surprise that Lovisa is climbing. I just don't know how far she's going to go. And our big winner this week, up another 195% to $35, is Nut Collector from Odyssey. Of course, this is an include in any squirrel deck, including anyone wanting to build the brand new Atoski Bearer of Secrets. Now, I would be very careful about investing in Nut Collector or even buying one at this point. This thing has absolutely skyrocketed over the course of the last couple of weeks, and it's not on the reserve list. We had a bunch of reprints with the Squirrel Secret Lair drop, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see something like Nut Collector get reprinted in KALDHEIM or in the very near future. I'd be very leery about purchasing one of these at this price, but it's amazing to see how far this thing has climbed in just a couple of weeks. Alright, before I get into cards I'm investing in this week, as always, if you're a subscriber, you know I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your continued support. If you're looking for another way to support this channel, we have a few sponsored boxes left on our website for KALDHEIM. If that's something that interests you, you can go ahead and head on over to www.dragonhillgames.com and check that out. Alright, let's kick things off with our value pick for the week, and this week I've chosen Atraxa Praetor's Voice from Double Masters. At under $15, this is a fantastic time to be getting your hands on a copy of Atraxa. There's a lot of reasons for this. First of all, Atraxa is the number 6 most popular commander in the game. Secondly, with this reprint in Double Masters, it seems unlikely that we're going to be seeing another reprint anytime soon. And you can actually pick up the original printing of Atraxa from Commander 2016 for under $17. When I sold one in my store last week for that price, I absolutely could not believe that she had fallen this far, given her popularity. Atraxa has nowhere to go but up from here. This week I've also chosen Vanquisher's Banner as another value pick. That's right, we got a double shot this week. For under $10, now's a great time to be picking up Vanquisher's Banner. It's fallen a little bit from its highs of nearly $12 back in the summer of this year. I list these things on eBay and they are sold virtually instantly. I can't keep them in stock, and Wizards has really been pushing tribal strategies. So there's no reason to believe, barring a reprint, that you're going to ever be able to get your hands on a Vanquisher's Banner for any cheaper than $9.50. And last but not least, we have our speculation play for the week. That's right, it's Biden of Thassa from Theros. Biden of Thassa had a reprint in Commander 2015 and of course Masters 25. All of them are under $2, so grabbing any of these right now is a fantastic pickup. This card is huge in Commander. It fits into a lot of blue decks and especially into stack strategies. For 4 mana, we're getting an artifact, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. And for 2 mana, you can force creatures your opponents control to attack this turn. Especially good in stacks strategies, but it also slots really well into any type of go wide decks. If this thing doesn't get another reprint this year, I expect this card to double in price over the course of the next year or so. Alright, I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of This Week in MTG Finance. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button, it really helps me out, and I wanted to take a minute to wish everyone a happy new year. All the best to you and your family in 2021. Alright, bye for now.